Hey everyone, and welcome to the Explainer. So today we're doing something super cool. We are breaking down a highly kinetic, intensely focused 75-second motivational production blueprint. You know, if you've ever found yourself wondering why you literally can't stop scrolling past those viral high-energy manifestation clips, and how they're actually engineered on the back end to just grab your attention and keep you completely hooked from the very first frame, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to look at the precise architectural prompt used to build this content. We'll be analyzing the psychological triggers, the sensory choices, and the structural pacing that make it just so incredibly effective at holding onto your attention. Okay, let's dive into this. The core equation driving this entire blueprint is courage plus clear intention plus inspired action plus self-belief plus patience equals manifested results. Now, this isn't just some catchy phrase. This is the literal foundation that the rest of this rapid-fire 75-second blueprint is built entirely around. Every single visual, every audio cue, and every split-second timing decision we are about to explore serves one singular purpose, and that's to subconsciously and consciously reinforce this exact mathematical formula of motivation right in the viewer's mind. So here is our roadmap for today's breakdown. 1. The Aries cinematic aesthetic. 2. The core manifestation formula. 3. Visualizing the 5 steps. 4. Daily rituals and affirmations. And finally, 5. The epic climactic payoff. All right, starting things off with Section 1, the Aries cinematic aesthetic. Right off the bat, the source text demands this intensely fiery cinematic aesthetic. We're talking dominant reds, oranges, and golds, heavily punctuated by these glowing particle sparks. And listen, these colors aren't just picked at random. Warm, fiery color palettes actually elevate your heart rate. They naturally trigger feelings of urgency and deep passion. And crucially, the blueprint absolutely requires a vertical 9:16 format. I mean, this is unapologetically engineered for Reels, TikTok, Shorts, you name it. It is explicitly designed to hijack your entire phone screen and completely wipe out any peripheral distractions. By combining that bold, dramatic lighting with a format that entirely fills your field of vision, the content is psychologically demanding your absolute full attention before a single word is even spoken. Now, let's actually map out how this blueprint rigidly structures its runtime, because it's honestly a masterclass in pacing. Right at 0 seconds, boom, we have the opening. Just 10 seconds later, at 0:10, we hit the main body. Then at 0:55, it shifts gears into a visualization moment. At 1:05, we get the daily ritual, and finally, right at 1:15, the climax. There's absolutely zero wasted space here. Every single second is accounted for, creating this really relentless momentum. And that specific cadence, it physically prevents the viewer's mind from wandering, ensuring that the dopamine loop remains incredibly tight from that very first hook all the way to the final payoff. But visuals are really only half the battle, right? The required audio architecture calls for a deep, motivational male voice delivering the script with just immense passion and authority. Underneath that voice, there is this epic cinematic trailer music. Think really strong drums and deep spiritual undertones. But you want to know the real secret to the energy? It's the powerful beat drops perfectly aligned with key visual moments. When a deep bass drop syncs exactly with a really fast-paced visual cut, it creates this compounding sensory impact. It literally physically resonates with the viewer, completely cementing the emotional weight of the message. Moving right along to Section 2, the core manifestation formula. Let's move to and see how this builds across a very strict 5-step cycle. Courage, clear intention, inspired action, self-belief, and patience. Now, the source document specifically notes that these 5 elements have to be presented sequentially as clean, numbered animations. It's a highly logical, structured progression that actually takes the viewer on a real psychological journey. It starts with that initial spark of overcoming fear through courage, right? Then it moves through the necessary physical execution with inspired action, and critically, this is the important part, it ends with patience. This completely prevents the message from feeling like some cheap, overnight success bait, and instead it grounds it in realistic, sustained effort. Which brings us to Section 3, visualizing the 5 steps. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how perfectly each fast-paced montage visually represents these abstract concepts. So for courage, you have a person facing fear, physically leaping forward into the unknown. For clear intention, it's sunlight passing through a magnifying glass to ignite a fire. I mean, that is an instantly recognizable metaphor for intense focus. Inspired action uses these quick cuts of decisive movement, making calls, launching projects, really anchoring that abstract concept in tangible, everyday reality.
Self-belief features a literal mirror transformation into a confident version of oneself surrounded by this glowing golden aura. And patience is depicted as a tiny seed rapidly growing into a massive, strong tree. It's just brilliant visual storytelling. By translating complex abstract ideas into universal visual metaphors, the blueprint totally bypasses cognitive friction, which allows your brain to just instantly process and internalize the entire message.
All right, heading into Section 4, Daily Rituals and Affirmations. Here, the blueprint intentionally juxtaposes the dual energies of daily rituals to show real-world application. On one hand, we have morning affirmations happening during this beautiful sunrise, and on the other, we have evening gratitude journaling. By contracting these two very distinct times of day, the content is subconsciously communicating that this manifestation formula isn't just a fleeting, one-time emotional high. It requires sustained, disciplined action from dawn until dusk. It essentially frames the motivation as a lifestyle rather than a quick fix, which creates a much, much stronger psychological anchor for the viewer. And accompanying those daily rituals is this incredible, powerful affirmation. I boldly create the life I desire. I trust my abilities, take inspired action, and remain patient as the universe aligns every opportunity for my highest good. Notice how this script isn't just some random positive thought. It directly reinforces our 5-step formula. Trusting abilities links right back to self-belief. Taking inspired action speaks for itself, and remaining patient neatly closes the loop. It just so cleverly packages the entire conceptual framework into one single, highly actionable and repeatable phrase. Finally, we hit Section 5, the epic climactic payoff. According to the blueprint, the final crescendo is this absolutely epic montage of fire, motion, and cosmic energy, which ultimately merges into a massive burst of golden light. And this brilliantly illustrates a visceral emotional peak. This total convergence of audio and visual intensity provides a massive, massive hit of dopamine right at the final mark of the runtime. It essentially leaves the viewer feeling incredibly energized, inspired, and physically moved. And honestly, that is the exact psychological state required to encourage them to either watch the loop again, save the content, or share it immediately with their friends. To wrap it all up, the blueprint concludes with bold, modern, fiery typography displaying this direct statement. Aries, you are here to lead and manifest. It's such a direct, unignorable call to the viewer's core identity. It challenges them not just to passively consume the content, but to actively embody it. So, let me leave you with a provocative question inspired by this very production architecture. How will you step up to lead and manifest your own clear intentions today? Thank you so much for exploring this totally fascinating framework with me. Keep learning, keep analyzing, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.